What's up, internet? Welcome back to Combat Zone. This is the preview for the main event of UFC 254. This weekend on Yazan, it is time to unify the Lightweight Championship. An undefeated beast in Khabib Nurmagomedov versus a hard-hitting challenger in Justin Gaethje. Starting with the champion, this will be only his second fight in 2 years, and does that mean he's going to have any ring rust? Well, what we do know is he is a 28-0, a perfect record for a dominating champion. And I don't mean dominating as in he's beaten everyone in the division. No, I mean dominating in the way that he physically breaks people almost with ease, talking shit and taking limbs. Khabib is the scariest man on the roster. Okay, that may be a little far, but there's no doubting what he has done. It feels as though he's been champion forever, but he's only defended his title twice. Couple that with the reports he only wants to get to 30-0 before he's done. This could be one of the last times we see him in the octagon. For that 30th fight, perhaps we see GSP for his retirement match, or dare I say, Tony. Though Gaethje isn't to be overlooked, the man has Dynamite in his gloves and an NCAA Division I wrestling background to rely on. And although he doesn't use that often, you have to assume he's better equipped to deal with a mauling Russian than the likes of Barboza or Poirier. And to that point, I believe this fight will be won and lost in the scramble. Khabib, he has the 10th most takedowns in UFC history, tied with Curtis Blaydes at 59, but he only has a 45% takedown efficiency. He does this by staying dominant. He goes for the takedown, but even if he fails, he still has his opponent pinned against the cage, so he can just try again. Then when it does hit the ground, Khabib doesn't just pass from one position to the next, he wraps up his opponent's legs and passes everything all at once, creating the opportunity for the scramble. A lot of his opponents had success at this while they were still fresh. Quinta, especially McGregor and Poirier, they all found some sort of success during the first round. It is then that we're going to see Justin's wrestling ability put on show, and we're going to see what sort of fight this is going to become. Speaking of Justin, to the UFC fans, it may have seemed like Justin Gaethje was just going to stick around in the middle of the rankings and put on awesome fights, taking away as many 50G checks as he can carry, but never really challenged for the world title. And to be fair, with an opening record of 1-2, it's not hard to understand why people might think that, but he is in fact championship quality, the World Series of Fighting lightweight champion in fact. In 3 years, Justin Gaethje took on 5 guys for the belt and knocked out every single one of them. He hits like a truck and is utterly fearless, and he got to show that to UFC fans in his first fight in July of 2017. The exciting fight with the 5th ranked Johnson led to him fighting some elite levels up the rankings in his next 2 fights. The former division champion Eddie Alvarez and the future interim champion Dustin Poirier. Though he did lose both those fights, he did gain Fight of the Night for both of them, which kept him in the fans' good graces. Since then, he's been building his way back to the top of the division with 3 first-round knockouts of James Vick, Edson Barboza, and Donald Cerrone. And at this point, we have to mention the cursed fight between Khabib and Tony. So, as a late step in, as the borders around the world are closing, Justin took the fight in Jacksonville, Florida, in front of no crowds for the very first time, in a fight that many assumed he would be outskilled and outclassed against a man who hadn't lost in 8 years. But something changed for that fight. Justin changed. During his UFC career, Justin Gaethje has the most significant strikes thrown per minute. Before the Tony fight, he averaged about 8.5 significant strikes per minute. That equates to about 42 per round. He did not get close to meeting that marker in any of the rounds during that fight, picking his shots better than ever before. His accuracy averaged out at about 55%, but during the Tony fight, 73%. The best in his UFC career in a long way. And don't sit there saying, well, it was a 5-round fight. In fact, let's give him 2 nicknames. He is now Mr. Main Event Justin the Highlight Gaethje, because with this weekend included, he has now had 7 of his 8 fights been for the main event spot, as well as picking up 9 performance bonuses from 7 fights. The guy just deserves it. Either way, the great unknown of this fight is going to be the wrestling. Justin is the most powerful striker in the division, but strikers change when they're in the octagon with Khabib. Khabib says he rates Justin's wrestling, but he's never been in there with someone who smothers his opponents the way Khabib does. And what about Justin Gaethje's calf kicks he's been doing way before they become popular? Will that be enough to slow Khabib down so he's more vulnerable to bombs as he comes in the later rounds? All these questions are the reason MMA math is so hard. Either way, we know that the Undisputed Lightweight Champion will be decided this weekend. Let us know who you think it is in the comments down below. I've been Ray from Combat Zone, and until next time, we'll see you then.